The wait is over. It's week 1. Here we go. Top 10 countdown. Yo! What is up, everybody? It's Too Much Fantasy Football. Brian and Brennan. We're ready for week 1. How we doing today, man?
That's great, man. Finally, the wait is over. This is the last Sunday ever for no football, and we have it now till February.
I know. Scott Hansen will be in my living room shortly. I cannot wait. The man's been missed. It's week 1. How do we do this? You know, I'm a little rusty.
I know, dude. I don't do it with my hands.
Right? But yeah, on our Monday episode, we're going to be breaking down the top 10 things that happen each and every week. But instead of breaking down preseason, because we've already done that, we're going to cover the entire offseason, wrap it up into one show, and let you know what you missed here. So I guess we really didn't put them in order, did we? But we've got 10 things for you. We're not going to be counting them down because I don't like the order. I don't like the order at all. But first thing we've got to talk about is injuries. You remember all those guys that got hurt leaving the season? Let's talk about a handful of them. Cousins, Rodgers coming back from Achilles. Where's your worry meter? Tell me when to stop.
I'd say like my worry meter for them is like both at like a 5 or 6. I think because of age and also like in its Achilles. I think Rodgers. I think I'm a little more worried for Rodgers than I am Cousins. I think just because. I think what implements more for Rodgers with the Jets of Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, I think the Falcons having Michael Penix is going to be okay for Drake London, Bijan, and Kyle Pitts.
Anthony Richardson's back. He's throwing the ball. He had a shoulder injury he was coming back from. It doesn't seem that it's bothering him. You know, they kind of held him out of minicamp a little bit just to keep him strong, but we're all good there. The one that does have me worried is this Burrow, the wrist injury. I have heard way too many times that this is not an injury that you bounce back from every time.
Yeah.
You can just fix. Yeah, so I guess there is cause for concern here. Like we should be just cautious, I guess, going into the season with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's going like as like QB8, QB10 in that range. And I mean, that's like a solid range for him because he's shown he can be like a QB4 out of ceiling. So like you're getting him at like a safe floor if you like Joe Burrow that much. I don't have him in any redrafts, but I don't mind him as a quarterback though, because when he does play and he plays well, it's lights out.
For sure. As long as you're not reaching for him, that's really, I think, my biggest concern with him is something could happen, I guess. But so as long as you're not reaching, you're not ruining yourself, you're fine there. Watson, he's cleared to play, but really this dude has been fragile ever since he left Texas. So Daniel Jones is one I'm also a little concerned about. He does make his money through his legs. ACL, sometimes they can be a little hampered that first year back. And he's looked terrible. He's looked awful. You know, this preseason. So I guess I'm just dynasty leagues. I for sure I've got backups for this guy. I guess is what I'm saying there.
Yeah, I think Malik Neighbors is going to have 130 targets, but like maybe 80 catches. I think Daniel Jones this is his last year as a Giants quarterback. I think we all can safely agree with that.
Especially with that bankroll that's going to be coming his way. The Giants are getting out of that. All right, our next topic, let's talk about the Bears because I think that they won the offseason. There's some great teams that did some awesome things, but they drafted a wide receiver and a quarterback, number 1 and number 9 overall. They traded for Keenan Allen, they signed DeAndre Swift, and then they re-signed DJ Moore. So this offense is about as complete as you can get. I think outside of the coaching, I'm wheels up for this team. Where are you at?
Yeah, I think this team should be a playoff team. Like legitimately, I think we watched Caleb play in the offseason. We're like, oh, this is why he gets compared to Patrick Mahomes. He just does the offhanded script throws. His vision in the pocket. I think it's everything you want. I just don't know who I want out of this offense. Like I didn't draft anybody from this, and it's not. I don't know if I was because I was avoiding it, but like if there's one I would be taking, it'd be Roma Dunze. Actually, Roma Dunze started to squeak up my board a little bit. I avoided Keenan Allen. Just because he's old, injuries, I'm just not sure. And DJ Moore, like he's supposed to be the one, but like who knows what Caleb's going to do? We don't know what his tendencies are. So
I'm excited. I have too many Bears friends. I feel like that's just they climb into me because the Colts fan myself. We don't win too often as well anymore, or at least the big ones. Yeah. But I'm excited for the Bears fans and excited for what this team can do. Free agency, easiest recap we can possibly do. We've covered it in many episodes, but the biggest ones, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields going to the Steelers. That's going to be so much fun. This team always finishes over 500 or at 500, so
they're going to be
the
like
chaos.
3-7, and then they're just going to go on this win streak, and then they're just going to somehow be above 500. It's ridiculous. Somehow they'll squeak out wins. They have a really tough schedule, though. So, like, if there's a year for them to not be above 500, it's the year, and it's this year, just because, like, I think Russell Wilson is absolutely washed, and I think Justin Fields hasn't shown any progress of getting better at, like, reading defenses. So I think I'm out.
Especially they didn't win the Ayuk contest there. George Pickens, talented guy, but he is their number one, and that's about all they have. They drafted a rookie. Freiermuth is there, so this team's going to be interesting. Arthur Smith at the helm.
Cordell Patterson taking all the goal line touches.
Oh God, don't piss me off this early in the morning. Come on, man. Kirk Cousins to the Falcons. I think this was the most exciting and the biggest free agency signing. We finally get to see this offense. They've spent 3 straight, I guess now 4 straight years on a top 10 offensive piece. This year they did take a quarterback as well, a older quarterback, 25 years old, going to be backing up Kirk Cousins. But they've got Bijan, they have Kyle Pitts, they've got Drake London. I'm super excited. We've covered it in a few episodes, but these players are high on our boards for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Derrick Henry went to the Ravens, Barkley to the Eagles. Which one do you like more?
I like Barkley more. I just think that, like, there's a chance that, like, Derrick Henry could get hurt by, like, week 10 and they just hold him out till playoffs. Like Saquon, I think Saquon's a little more safer with where you're taking him in, like, the 1-2 turn. I think Derrick Henry has a little more a risk factor with them in this offense.
God, could you imagine if they did do that? Like, try to hold him. Oh man, there would be riots in the street in Baltimore.
Yeah, I know.
Fantasy players would not like that, but I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these players. Ravens don't have as good of an offensive line as they did in the past, but they've just got Derrick Henry. They want to run the ball. They want to give it to him. And, like, we've never seen him on a consistently good team. This team is always good, the Ravens are. And then Barkley to the Eagles, like you said, I think it's a smash pick. They're going to run the offense through not only him, but all those pieces. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. So we talked about old injuries. Let's talk about some new ones. Sam Laporta and Gibbs, both of them popped up on the injury report over the last few weeks. It seems both of them are ready to play for week 1. All confidence ready to start them as of now?
Yeah, Dan Campbell's pretty honest as a head coach, and so, like, my worry meter is at, like, a 1 for both of them, so I'm good to go with them.
Trent Williams is holding out. It's not really an injury, but it's got to be brought up because this team was drastically different in the 3 games that they missed Trent Williams last year. They lost 3 in a row. It was quite the skid mark. Brock Purdy needs to be protected on that left side, as we learned.
Yeah, I think he threw, like, 2 touchdowns and, like, 8 interceptions in that time frame. I know Debo was out too, but it's still kind of concerning when you see those stat lines. You're like, oh,
because Debo could be out by then.
Yeah,
like, he's good right now, folks. Don't freak out, but the guys.
It could be over. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he uses doors. He just walks through walls, and any one of those walls could be a load-bearing wall, and he's just done. Jalen Waddle, there's been speculation of injury on him, being nervous. Last year was not great. He played through a lot of the injuries, so this year they're kind of popping back up. But his first 2 years, he played every single game except one. And the one game he missed was his rookie year, and it was a COVID game. So, this last year, it's 1 to his 3 years, so, like, let's not freak out completely. I'm ready I'm drafting Waddle tonight. I haven't yet, but I'm like, focused in on it. I'm drafting him tonight in my home league.
No, I think they're just being precautious with them. I think that's all it is, honestly. I think they're just being very safe with them.
Speaking of being safe, the Vikings clearly weren't. Clear the sad music. Oh, see, I don't have it. Producers took the day off. It's Labor Day, folks. Come on. The poor Vikings, they lost Kirk Cousins. They drafted a quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, in the top 10, and meniscus surgery. He's out for the season. Sam Darnold is the guy. Justin Jefferson, you're going to see him drafted all over the place right now in the first round. Where are you? Are you drafting with concern of just spike weeks?
I took Amon-Ra and Jamar Chase before Justin Jefferson. I just think you're going to have weeks of just like you saw with Nick Mullins of 20 points, and then you'll see him with games with 4 points. It's just like I think you'll be very uneasy with how inconsistent the play could be because, like, I know everyone's like, oh, but Kevin O'Connell's a really good head coach, and I do believe that. I actually do believe Kevin O'Connell's a great coach, but like, I think Sam Darnold is been a lifelong backup for a reason because I don't think he's meant to be a starter. So I think you're going to have weeks of just frustration, and it's bound to happen. That's okay though. Justin Jefferson's still the most talented wide receiver, so.
I think that's what you need to remember when you're drafting him is there may be frustration, but his talent still wins out. I'd take Amon-Ra over him, but I think Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are in the same boat still this year. There is those slight concerns with Burrow, but also he's holding out right now. We'll kind of just segue into that. He's holding out. He wants a new contract. We've seen so many guys get paid, and as of now, right now, the head coach called him day to day. So I'm not sure what to expect from this kid.
Yeah, I think it sounded like week one is can potentially be a miss here for Jamar Chase. So, and I just don't understand why the Bengals aren't willing just to match the same contract as Justin Jefferson. Like clearly he's a top 3. He's not going to just fall off randomly. Like just pay the guy, just get it over with, pay him, and just call it a day.
Yeah, even if he's not worth that, or they don't think he is, they won't get appropriate in the market back from him. You know, like you're never going to draft a guy like that. You know, those opportunities to draft a guy like that just doesn't come around often. Speaking of getting paid, we had some wide receiver money passed out. A few years ago, we freaked out when Christian Kirk got the bag. Justin Jefferson got the bag. Nico Collins got the bag. Jalen Waddle, Amon-Ra, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Michael Pittman, Brandon Ayuk, and Mike Evans, to say just a few. All of these guys north of 20, most of them north of $27 million a year. Wow, what a year. Running backs, I'm sorry, fellas. You guys are amazing. You're so important to this game, but... y'all aren't wide receivers.
They're not wide receivers, that's for sure. So, like, as you can see, this is why just Jamar Chase is holding out. He literally sees everybody getting paid, and he's like, I would like that. And now for everybody that's sitting there saying, well, like, he still has 2 years left in his contract. Jalen Waddle got an extension. Devonta Smith got an extension, and they both had 2 years left in their contract. He's able to get a contract extension. It actually helps the team when they do this. Like, it's just, I don't understand. I've heard rumbles that Cincinnati Bengals owner is kind of cheap. So we'll see if this really comes down to week one. He misses.
The amount of money he had to pull out of the bank to pay Joe Burrow, there's a chance they just don't have the guaranteed money to put aside to pay him right now. You know,
yeah.
I wonder how real that is too. Diggs, he got traded. He's no longer a Buffalo Bill. As you've seen in your draft, yes, he is wearing the red and blue. Oh, wait, that's what he was wearing before. God, there's too many teams red and blue, aren't there? But he's with the Texans. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, the young trio, or CJ Stroud would be included in that trio. You had to follow the path there, folks. But he's with the young guns. He's running around there. I'm not excited. He's third on my list out of those 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, he's third on my list, but in the 4 or 5 redrafts I've done, Stephon Diggs has gone before Tank Dell. So like it's literally gone Nico, Stephon, and then Tank Dell, and Tank Dell has been the cheapest. Tank Dell has gone in the 5th round in all of my leagues, and I should have I was like, I should take him. I shouldn't, but I taken a tight end there. So like honestly, I think you're getting Tank Dell to steal in the 5th round if he does fall there.
For a guy that could be, you know, some spike weeks here and there, some down weeks here and there.
Could be the leading receiver for that team, for all we know, to be quite honest. Like, there's a possibility of that. Like,
CJ Stroud, his sweatpants tighten when he talks about Tank Dell. Like, the kid is in love with him. They're best of friends. Next thing we need to know is there is a new kickoff format. So when you watch that first game on Thursday night and you're like, what in the world is this? What's happening? Yes, new kickoff format. Essentially, the guys just aren't running as far. They're going to be starting closer apart. If the ball doesn't go a certain distance, they're going to get it either to the 20, 25. They'll be explaining it, I guarantee you, on most outlets over the first few weeks, and they're going to be doing it over and over. But just so you're aware, so I don't know if we can find a break. Maybe we do find a handful more touchdowns for some of these guys. Most platforms you play on, special teams touchdowns will be applied to those players. I don't know about you. You don't play in those bad leagues, right? You get no special team points.
No, I don't get like yardage for punt returns, anything else.
Well,
like
not yardage,
that,
no. Unless you're in the
so finally we don't have to get up after our seat after like we have to actually watch kickoff, like because it's actually somewhat meaningful this time. So,
which is going to be interesting. How is this going to be on Red Zone? Like, or not Red Zone, with Scott Hansen, on Sunday mornings. Is he going to be showing kickoffs now?
He has to.
That's where the action's going to be, folks. We're excited. Outside of that, it's the biggest thing that's happened. Can you think of anything else we need to make sure that people know?
I I would say if you're doing your drafts this week, like look at the news because like Jamar Chase is holding out, and it does sound like he's missing week 1. So like, I think I'm taking Amon-Ra before him, and I'm thinking I'm taking Justin before him. But I think that's where I stop. Like, and I wouldn't hate people that take AJ Brown before.
That
Jamar.
was the one.
Yeah, I think that's where the line is, and like I don't hate you for doing that, but like that's just now if Jamar falls to like 10, that's a value.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on the Eagles this year. I have no problem taking AJ Brown in the mix with those fellows. With just the question marks looming, he's been signed. He's not holding out. He's got a quarterback. The only question mark is the center. How much did Jason Kelce really do for that team?
Yep, that's about it though. But I'm excited.
Well, last thing that people need to know for today. Where can they find you, Brennan? What you doing? Where else?
I am on X at FFANBmulk, and then I am in the fantasy group page for Fantasy Football Advice Network. So I'll be on there. I answer all you guys' like dynasty questions and redraft questions.
Absolutely. You're going to find me in the same places, just at different names. Mine is at @2much_Brian. I am on Twitter or X. I am on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. You're looking for a space that is devoted solely to fantasy football. That's the place to go. But until, tomorrow, we got the live stream. We're going to be doing the waiver wire. You guys ready to pick up those last minute people that you weren't quite sure of in your drafts? We're going to be covered it tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Until then, we'll see y'all later.